Welcome to Strange Cake. Now we're all a little bit strange. Oh, so very tasty.
You've always loved the strange birds. Now I want to fly into your world.
Hi, welcome to Strange Cake. Today we are going to cover 10 transgender myths. So, myths people assume about transgendered people.
You should never assume, because when you assume, you make an ass of you and me.
And there are quite a few, but we're only going to cover 10. It was a handy little list. Wasn't done by me. I will leave the link in the description. First myth. Transgender people are confused and tricking others.
You tricked me, you naughty mustard.
Well, honestly, no. We don't do this to trick anybody. In fact, we're doing this to be honest with ourselves.
If I'm being honest,
We don't do this for any other reason than it's for us. It's not for tricking people. I don't understand the thought process and the logic behind that one.
I don't understand, bitch. Don't understand. I don't understand, bitch.
Now weirder than fuck. I can't do a Yorkshire accent. I'm sorry for all them people in Yorkshire that I have just decimated. I'm terrible with accents.
Sorry, I am sorry. My apologies.
No, we're not confused. We've been confused, and now we know what we're talking about. And we're just being our genuine selves.
Be yourself, be yourself, be yourself.
I suppose when you're looking at the whole aspect of, dating and things like that, if you don't tell them, you can't give consent unless you know all the facts. So,
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Okay, yes.
See that? 50 no's and a yes means yes.
if you're not honest with who you are, with the person you are being in a relationship with, then, well, that says something more about you than, what you are than anything. And I think we can all admit that there's quite a few cis people out there that are quite catfishy. It happens through all sorts.
We're all infected.
So, myth number 2. Sexual orientation is linked to gender identity. Well, no, again, that's just no, not the case at all.
No.
Gender identity relates to how you look at yourself and, the image you have.
I am a unicorn. That's how I was born. I see the good in you.
The way you want to present, that's all your gender identity. Your sexual preferences, however, your sexual orientation, what you choose to sleep with.
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace.
Sorry, who you choose to sleep with. Yeah, rephrase that. Who you choose to sleep with is completely separate. And so there's lots of, trans people out there that are gay. So, they'll be, male to female, but they still prefer women. There are, female to male transitioners that still prefer men. It just means they're gay. Why do people assume these things? I mean, if you just look at it logically, right, and look at how the words are used, you can pretty see the clear cut. But yeah, some people don't like to look at the obvious, do they? I suppose. Myth number 3. Letting trans people use the restroom or locker room matching their gender identity is dangerous. Again, Jesus Christ. You can't assume every single person out there is a predator just because they do this or they do that.
It is absolutely 150% your fault. Of course it's their fault.
If we're going to work on that, principle, we would all be locked up for one reason or another, because you can all stereotype everybody. Don't stereotype people like that. That's bull crap. That's unnecessary.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Look at it logically. how many people are really going to go to the extent of, you know, really trying to, you know, to transition just to look at the toilets? It's just, honestly,
I don't get it.
there are going to be people out there that abuse the system, but they are going to do it regardless of what rules you put up. So you can villainize people as much as you want, but it doesn't change the fact that it's the few, the very, very few. My mom and dad always had a saying, it's always the minority that ruin it for the majority. So, and it is normally the case. It's normally one stupid idiot or one predator. It's down to the person, not how they identify. It's that simple. To villainize an entire population of people is just wrong.
Oh, that's nasty.
Look, I get it. When people are at the beginning of the transition, it can be, you know, unnerving for people that have never come into, you know, contact with that before. I get it. Look, it's not like we don't get it. It's just a case of we're not going in there to victimize you, to prey on you, or anything like that. We just want to go to the toilet, wash our hands, and then leave again. It's not difficult and unreasonable to think that most people just want to use the toilet. As I said, there will be that few. There is always that few. You can guarantee if there's, you know, there's someone can think of it, there'll be someone that'll do it. Right. Myth number 4. I did get 4. I didn't put a couple up to begin with, I promise. Yeah, so, oh god, this is weird. They're all very, very silly. I mean, transitioning is as simple as one surgery. I mean, really? Is that a myth? I mean, the bathroom one I can understand. And the sexual orientation and gender one, I can understand people being confused with that one too. And the tricking one. Yeah, again, all of them up to understand, but this one is a bit weird. Transitioning is as simple as one surgery. Who is telling people that? If it is, can you point me to that surgeon? I need the number of this surgeon. One surgery and that's it. We're all done. Bada bing, bada boom. Is she a witch? Harry Potter thing. Is this like a weird polyjuice thing? That would be great. Can we do that? Am I the only trans person that thinks that would be a really, really good idea? Yeah, it's not as simple as one surgery. It is nice and easy to put it as many, many, many surgeries. Depending on the person. I mean, some people don't necessarily transition, so it's like some people are content. If you wanted it, you've got obviously FFS, which is facial feminizing surgery. You have breast augmentation. You have your vaginoplasty, your bottom surgery and stuff like that. There's 3, but I mean, there's loads out there. I mean, obviously you can get the BBL, you can get your hips done, you know, like fat sucked out of everywhere and put into other places and stuff like that. There's loads of different surgeries for it.
At this point, I would say we're hitting about $200,000.
As simple as one surgery, I wish. The female to male, I know is very extensive. I know a friend of mine, he's had all this part of his arm been, you know, torn up and, you know, used that to make it, and it's...
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Well, what's that then?
Very invasive, that one, and, you know, it's actually remarkable what they can do now. Modern medicine is a miracle in itself, and oh, God bless it. Thank you, modern medicine. Number 5, all trans people medically transition. Well, I've already literally just mentioned in the last one.
Do it again, and we will do it again. We've got a heck of a job to do, but you can bet it to see it through. We did it before, and we can do it again.
No, they don't. It's not necessarily the case. As I said, people can be quite content. People can be happy. Then they can know what they are, and you know, for them, fantastic. It's not necessary for some people. For other people, the dysphoria is debilitating and too much. It's all down to personal circumstances and how that person is willing to live their life. It's all personal choice at the end of the day. If you identify as trans but you don't transition, that is fine. Going back to number 3, I wouldn't suggest that trans person using the toilet they identify with if they're not going to at least present as that. Yeah, I think if you're going to at least present, yes, fair enough, go into the toilet or restroom or whatever as the gender you identify. But if you're not going to, I can imagine that being quite alarming. I think if I was confronted by it in the toilet and I was like, well, they should at least try to present if they're going to go into the restroom of the gender they identify. Oh, well, there we go. We did a full circle, sort of a loop-de-loop, sort of spaghetti. We went back to number 3 there. So, myth number 6. Transgender inclusive healthcare is expensive. No more expensive than anybody else that has issues. I don't get that. My boob job costs no more than the average boob job.
So what size, before you had, because you've had 3 operations, which we'll talk about in a sec, but what size naturally were you by the time you were, say, in your 20s?
Naturally, I was a D.
And cosmetic surgery, majority of us will be paying for ourselves anyway, so I don't understand what the issue is with that one. That's a weird myth. That is a weird myth. Not something I expected to see, but okay. Myth number 7. Oh, here we're going to cause some controversy, I think. It says, children aren't old enough to know their gender identity. Well, yes, they are. I was very, very young, 6 or 7, when I knew something was wrong. Like, you know, when you can establish that your feelings aren't necessarily the same as what the rest of your gender at that age is. You can tell there's something different.
Something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
You just can't put a name to it. I missed out on the YouTube train. I never really got to see much LGBT people represented in any media, and the ones that I did see were the likes of Little Britain, and that really wasn't something I wanted to associate. That's what I thought I would end up being.
You're a very lovely looking lady.
You embarrass me! I must go and powder my nose.
And I know there's a few people out there are going to say that I am, and I still am, and whatever. But, well, I'm happy.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
I wish I could have known that I would have been happy. Then I would have done it much sooner. I didn't have a name for it. I didn't know. So that's all I had. I just had whatever was on TV at the time, and it really wasn't much, and it was quite anti-trans rather than pro-trans. So yeah, they know. Whether they do anything about it, I think, goes down to the child, their healthcare professional, and their parents. I don't think I have a right to get involved in other people's families' business, to be truthfully honest. They know, but they need words to put to it. So, myth number 8. We have transgender people are mentally ill. No, that is not the case. I like to think I'm a little bit nuts, but I have to be. I'm a horsey. If you're dealing with horses, you kind of have to be a little bit nuts. I mean, my horse bolted, and I had a hold of him, and I was apparently feet off the floor, and I was with him. I didn't even know about it. The only reason I let go and fell to the floor was because there was a wall coming up, and I wasn't getting squished. I suppose maybe I am a little bit nuts, but no, I'm not mentally ill, thank you very much. I'm quite sane. I like to think I'm quite articulate. Just we're trans. We just have a brain that's wired up for the other gender. That is it. And while technically some people could look at that and say, oh, well, you're mentally ill. It's like, if I'm talking to a guy, well, is your wife mentally ill? So because she thinks like a girl, she's automatically mentally ill. Like, you know, and if I'm talking to a woman and I say, well, is that case, is your husband mentally ill because, you know, he thinks like a man? It's, you know, myths aren't necessarily steeped in truth, are they?
Lies. Oh, lies!
Normally it's just bullshit made up by people who don't like it, and it just happens to catch on. So myth number 9, transgender people make up a third gender. No, we do not. The whole point of transitioning is that we're going from male to female or female to male. There is no other way about it. Logic seems to really elude these myths, don't they? Whoever been making this stuff up really needs to get a grip.
Get a grip! Good grip.
Right, so we're on myth number 10. Yay, myth number 10, yes. Drag queens and kings are transgender. No. I'm glad we saved that one to the end, because I'm not going to have my mad rant. No, they're not. They're completely separate. One person is an entertainer, i.e. drag king or queen, right? The other person lives their life in that gender. It's that simple. I spend my life like this. I live like this. I wake up in the morning, I do what any girl would do, and I have my skincare routine. Because like, a lot of drag queens, they go around and they spend the rest of their days, their normal day life, as a man, and they, you know, that's how they live their life. They do not identify as female. They just like to dress up in drag, have a giggle, and have a joke. And that is the extent of it. You know, there's no harm in them doing that and having a bit of entertainment, but it does kind of make people assume that we are one of the same when that's not necessarily the case. Okay, well, I have noticed that the past few videos I've done haven't had a outro, so I think I will make sure I do one at the end of every single one. But sometimes I get distracted with things. I don't know, I'm a free spirit, I go wherever I like. So, right guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe. I know that a fair few of you still haven't subscribed yet. You need to subscribe. Thank you very much. I want to try and get to 1,000. That would be absolutely brilliant. So right guys, thank you very much, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!